morning, everyone. We're here in front of the White House, part of our weekly demonstration to bring you the latest updates about the situation in East Turkistan, and also to call on the United States government to do more to support East Turkistan and its people and to help us stop the ongoing genocide. Just yesterday, at an event on China's systematic persecution of Uyghurs, hosted by the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, the Holocaust Museum has designated China's atrocities in East Turkestan as crimes against humanity. We are definitely happy and supportive of this. This is something that we have been calling for years. The atrocities that China is committing in East Turkestan against Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, Uzbeks, and other Turkic peoples of East Turkestan are nothing less than genocide. In 1948, the United Nations Genocide Convention defined genocide. And it included in its definition of genocide, bringing about conditions inflicting in part or whole the destruction of a people, a racial, ethnic, or religious group. It also stated that killing members of the groups in part and whole constitutes as genocide. In addition to that, transferring children from one group to another also constitutes as genocide, and preventing births amongst the population also constitutes as genocide. For 70 years, since China occupied East Turkestan in December 1949, East Turkestan and its people have been subject to systematic genocide and colonization. All of the acts defined as genocide under the UN Genocide Convention is being perpetrated by the People's Republic of China against East Turkestan and its people. As we speak, over 3 million Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, Uzbeks, Tatars, and other Turkic peoples of East Turkestan are locked up in concentration camps, prisons, and labor camps. And in these camps, they're being subject to forced political indoctrination, torture, forced medication, forced sterilization, rape, organ harvesting, and even summary executions. All of this constitutes as genocide under the UN Genocide Convention. In addition to that, tens of thousands of Uyghur, Kazakh, Kyrgyz, and other Turkic women have been forcibly married off to Han Chinese men in a bid to prevent the future of our nation's existence. And this too constitutes as genocide under the UN Genocide Convention. Similarly, over 500,000 Uyghur, Kyrgyz, Kazakh, Uzbek, and other Turkic children have been forcibly separated from their families and sent to state-run boarding schools, orphanages, or even given to Chinese families to be assimilated and indoctrinated as loyal Chinese citizens. This too is a form of genocide as described under the UN Genocide Convention. For decades, under China's so-called family planning policies, birth control policies, millions, tens of millions of Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, and other Turkic babies were forcibly aborted in a bid to prevent the natural growth of our population. More recently, the Chinese government has been transferring Uyghur youth out of East Turkestan into Chinese provinces for forced labor. Between 2006 and 2010, under China's 11th five-year plan, the Chinese government forcefully relocated over 400,000 Uyghur and other Turkic women between the ages of 16 and 25 to be used as workers in China. Many of these Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples are forced to work in Chinese factories that are manufacturing products that are then sold by prominent companies like Nike, car companies like BMW, Mercedes, Land Rover, clothing apparel companies like H&M, Zara, and so forth. Even companies like like Apple, even companies like Apple's phones, the iPhones that which we use, the computers that which we use, all of this are being made with forced labor or slave labor of Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples. Thus, in a bid to respond to this, the United States Congress, in a bipartisan effort, is launching a bill to sanction Chinese products made with forced labor that originate from East Turkistan. So we definitely welcome this news, and we call on other members of Congress to support this bill as well. Secondly, this past week, the United States government, the United States State Department, and Secretary Mike Pompeo and First Lady Melania Trump awarded the Women of Courage 2020 award to a Kazakh East Turkistani concentration camp survivor, Sayragul Sauytbay. We are definitely grateful for the United States government in showing more solidarity to our cause, and we call on them to do more to help bring an end to these atrocities. Most importantly, I want to thank Sayragul Sauytbay for her courage, for her bravery, and for calling on our people to unite to fight against the Chinese communist oppression and occupation of our homeland. Sayragul Sauytbay, in her statement, in her interview with Radio Free Asia, stated, called on our people to unite, saying that the cause is not of one ethnic group. This oppression is not only being faced by the Uyghurs or by the Kazakhs or by the Kyrgyz, it is being faced by all Turkic peoples in East Turkestan. And the Chinese government's goal is to eradicate, if not assimilate, East Turkestan and its people so that they can completely control East Turkestan. Thus, we again call on our community across our diaspora, and we call on our supporters to help us to work together in standing against Chinese occupation, Chinese oppression, and the brutal genocide that is happening against all Turkic peoples in East Turkestan. Lastly, we want to remind everyone that the UIGHUR Act, although it has been passed by the U.S. House of Representatives in December 2019, it is still in limbo in the United States Senate, and thus we urge all Americans, all of our supporters, to contact their senators and press them to press Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's office to put the UIGHUR Act to schedule the UIGHUR Act for voting. It is crucial that this act is passed because it will get the gears of the United States government turning to where we can bring an end to 70 years of genocide, 70 years of colonization, and 70 years of Chinese occupation of East Turkestan. Lastly, we again call on world governments, international organizations, scholars, and like-minded people to formally recognize China's atrocities in East Turkestan as a genocide. Thank you.